Okay, so today I'm having the most anticipated smartphone, which is the OnePlus Nord and also the iPhone SE 2020. Well, what am I going to do with these two phones? You want it? I give it. Yes, you have it. So I'm going to battle between these two smartphones and let's see which suits you the most. And why do I choose these smartphones? Because both of them are having the most similar price point and also both of them are parked at their entry level on their respective brands. Let's start with the design of the phones. By looking at these two phones, they are certainly different. The OnePlus Nord is obviously thicker, heavier, and larger than the iPhone SE 2020, which has only 7.3mm thickness and weighs only at 148 grams because it uses the same frame from the last iPhone 8. As for the back cover, this time OnePlus Nord and iPhone SE 2020 are having the same glossy back finish with a linear quad camera setup on the back of the OnePlus Nord, whereas the iPhone SE 2020 has a single camera setup. So for the whole design and size, you're going to choose between the smaller and more compact iPhone SE 2020 and also the larger OnePlus Nord. But this is year 2020 and not back in 2013. Obviously, a smaller display is a huge disadvantage for most of our daily usage and works on the phone, although it's more convenient to carry and feels more premium with the aluminium body framing. But do remember, both of these phones are having the same glossy back design, which is a fingerprint magnet, and for me, not a favorite fan of the fingerprint magnet, so I'll probably put on the plastic back cover on both of these phones, and once you put it on, it doesn't really make a difference on the body build material. And as a guy, for me, I'll prefer a larger phone to hold on because I have a larger palm, so holding on to a larger phone makes me feel more comfortable and more secure. Now for the displays, the OnePlus Nord clearly has the win on this because it comes with a 90Hz refresh rate display, so smoothness wise, the 60Hz refresh rate display on the iPhone clearly shows some disadvantage on it. Well, if you ever tried the 90Hz refresh rate, you'll never go back to the 60Hz. So the OnePlus Nord is having a 6.44-inch flat Full HD Plus Fluid AMOLED counting Gorilla Glass 5, whereas the iPhone SE 2020 comes with a smaller 4.7-inch Retina HD thick bezel display. Of course, it also has a better 408 ppi compared to the 326 ppi on the iPhone SE 2020. And the other plus point will be the vibrant color effect that will enhance and optimize your video colors and contrast, so you get the vivid and dynamic colors when you're watching videos on it. Other than that, watching videos on this thick bezel and small screen really will make you less concentrate and distract you a lot, and you can't really catch the fine details of your video. In fact, most of the time, texting is the number one priority for me when I'm looking for a smartphone because 80% of my time I rely on WhatsApp messaging for my workload. And by using both of these phones, I really find it hard to type precisely on the iPhone SE 2020 because of the smaller display and smaller keyboard size. Whereas on the OnePlus Nord, I never have to face this kind of issue because of the larger screen and larger keyboard, so I can type precisely on this OnePlus Nord. So both are having a fingerprint scanner too. One is on the home button and one in-screen fingerprint scanner, and both unlock is pretty fast and smooth. But I really want to stress out that having a physical fingerprint scanner on the screen on this thick bezel on this iPhone SE is kind of waste of space, especially it will make my screen go smaller, whereas on the OnePlus Nord, the in-screen fingerprint scanner feels more cool to unlock your screen. Next on for the performance. So this is a little bit tricky because both are having different platforms. The OnePlus Nord is coming with the Snapdragon 7655G chipset, whereas the iPhone SE 2020 comes with the A13 Bionic chipset, which we all know that this is the most powerful chipset for Apple at the moment. If you'd like to ask me, I definitely give it a win to the iPhone SE with the A13 Bionic chipset. But here's the catch. Although it has a powerful chipset, but the battery life on this iPhone SE 2020 is really short because it only has a small 1821 mAh battery compared to the 4115 mAh battery on the OnePlus Nord. And if you're counting on this phone for 24/7, you'll probably get frustrated because you constantly need to find plug points and also bring in extra power band that add in as an extra weight for you. And in fact, the charging speed for this iPhone SE 2020, it needed you around 2 hours to get it fully charged, whereas you just need 30 minutes to get your 4150 mAh battery up to 70% on the OnePlus Nord. So what's the point of having a powerful chipset but you can't really utilize it to its full potential? And when it comes to storage and RAMs, the OnePlus Nord beats it all because it comes with up to 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage option option, whereas the iPhone SE 2020 only comes up to 3GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. And looking at our ever-growing apps demand, well, I really feel that the OnePlus Nord is having the advantage for the long run. Well, a larger RAM will definitely be a better choice, because with a larger RAM, you're definitely not experiencing any laggy issue even throughout the years, and also you can constantly upgrade and download new apps. Well, if you think that's a hard battle, then you're wrong, because the coming one is the hardest part. That's camera. So on paper, the OnePlus Nord clearly wins the iPhone SE 2020, but when you place it side by side, the picture qualities are pretty similar, and the dynamic range, the details, the shadows are pretty refined. So I'll probably give it a tie for this camera. But because the OnePlus Nord clearly has more options for you, you not just get the benefit to capture a macro shot and a better night shot with its night mode feature, but also you get to capture a wider dynamic range with the ultra wide angle. In fact, you can even get to capture ultra wide angle selfies with the dual punch hole selfie on the OnePlus Nord, a 32 megapixel selfie and 8 megapixel ultra wide wins, taking on with the 7 megapixel selfies on the iPhone SE 2020. So I'll give the cameras to the OnePlus Nord. Now we are testing out the video quality of both of these phones, and let's check out the audio quality at the same time. So this is the front camera, and I'm using the OnePlus Nord mic, and this is the iPhone SE 2020, and I'm using the iPhone SE 2020 mic. And let's check out how great is the selfie videos. And so here comes the final factor to decide which is the better one for you, that is the price. And for the price point, OnePlus has finally come back to where it started off, with a premium flagship specs and also a mid-range pricing. So for the pricing, the OnePlus Nord is pricing at 1,799 ringgit for the 8 plus 128GB, and also a 2,399 ringgit for the 12GB plus 256GB variant, and bundled with the OnePlus Buds. Whereas for the iPhone SE, it started from 1,999 ringgit for the 3GB plus 64GB of storage, and also a 2,699 ringgit for the 3GB plus 256GB of storage. So looking at the price point, so much to say that even if you are getting the higher storage variant in the OnePlus Nord, you'll still be getting it at 300 ringgit cheaper. But here's the thing that you really want to know. The OnePlus Nord is coming with the Oxygen OS 10.5, which is well known for its sustainability and stability throughout the years. And also you need to know that the OnePlus has devoted itself for a 2 years continuous software update, whereas on the iPhone SE, it comes with the iOS 13.5, which is a well-known platform that you'll never get disappointed throughout the years. So by looking at the whole package, I'll say I'll give it a win to the OnePlus Nord, because the OnePlus has really combine all the features, all the tech specs that will provide users to make a full potential on every feature it has on this phone. Whereas on the iPhone SE 2020, it's a little bit backdated with the size and also the smaller screen and also the smaller battery life. But what about you? Which is your preferred smartphone between these two? And let me know in the comments below. And also remember to give me a like and click the subscribe, click the bell icon to catch our latest gadget review. I'm Joshua C. Till next time. Luck on!